Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to say a few words to all of you today. I'm honored to be with you and grateful that you're here. First, congratulations to all of this year's Excellence Award winners, especially my friend, City Councilor Cassandra Gondara from Las Cruces. But I want to thank all of you for the outstanding work that you have done and the example that you continue to set. For me, there is no more important work than educating, raising, nurturing, and protecting New Mexico's children. That's why I really am humbled to get to speak to you today. I am extremely grateful for all the work that you do for vulnerable children day in and day out. It's frequently difficult, heartbreaking work. I know that. All too often your work goes unrecognized and is insufficiently compensated. I just want you to know today that the governor and I, and many people in the legislature and across this state, value you and the contributions that you make. It's not often that we can say that the work of people in New Mexico is saving lives. But I know we can say that here, because potentially you are saving lives of thousands of abused and neglected children. You are also giving them hope. Hope for the future, hope for a loving and caring family, and a safe and stable home. And that is what every child in New Mexico wants and deserves. I salute all of you for the strength, the dedication, and the compassion that you show to children. Because of you, the future of New Mexico's at-risk children becomes brighter. Over the last 2 years, under the leadership of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, we have tried to put in place a foundation for giving all of our children what should be their fundamental right. A chance for a decent, safe life, an honorable, orderly, and positive upbringing, and a chance to live out their dreams and fulfill their God-given capacities. This is how New Mexico grows in the future. And I don't have to tell you, because you know it best. In many regards, we inherited a mess, with behavioral health services in shambles and CYFD struggling to function under the burden of enormous staff vacancies. Now, I think we are making some steady and important progress. We established extended foster care and fostering connections. Our first cohort of children who have the option of joining Foster Connections began this year, and we have nearly 100% acceptance from kids who have aged out of the program. All of them are housed and have access to behavioral health care if they choose, and case management also if they want it. We increase kinship relative placements because we know these placements are less traumatic for children. Even if they've only met that relative once, it's still more familiar. Kinship also leads to fewer placement disruptions, better overall family healing, and reduces maltreatment of children in care. It also preserves cultural and linguistic ties for that child and their family. We expanded infant mental health care statewide. Trauma experience from age 0 to 3 has a harmful and lasting impact on a child. We can now offer services to families to mitigate such trauma. We finally reduced the backlog of old cases at CYFD, cutting those that were past due by as much as 85% during the first months of this pandemic. And caseloads have remained at or below federal standards ever since. We have increased protected classes by including more support for LGBTQIA populations. CYFD also is launching anti-retaliation training for its staff and created a resource family bill of rights for foster parents and a dedicated grievance process for those families. We recently launched a text messaging reporting structure for youth to disclose their own abuse or neglect and to connect kids to resources such as food, transportation, and behavioral health. It's the first of its kind in the nation. Together, we've established the Indian Child Welfare Court Act, ICWA, beginning this month to better build, serve, and support our tribal youth with the dedicated CYFD ICWA unit tribal liaison located directly in the office of the Secretary. CYFD acknowledges the real need for trauma-informed, behavioral health-focused. These reforms in the Kevin S. lawsuit settlement and for materially addressing the needs of our Native youth. I give a lot of credit to my partner, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, who really has made improving the lives of children and youth a priority of this administration. We will continue to make it a priority in the state, in the Roundhouse, with funding and resources necessary for improvement. Of course, COVID-19 has presented new challenges for all of us working to meet the urgent needs of children at risk. We are teleworking more. And I just want to acknowledge especially the folks from Child Protective Services and the caseworkers who have some of the toughest jobs in state government. We've had to stop many face-to-face in-person visits that we normally do to ensure safety of children. We have the added risk and stress of not becoming infected as well. It's gone harder to find foster home placements. Many of you who have your own kids to help during the day-to-day rigor with remote learning while trying to do your own jobs. And I know that the pandemic has made your jobs harder. And I just want to say thank you for hanging in there. You have truly been amazing. Now that we have the vaccines in the state, we'll all get through this. I promise. I just want to say to all of you here today, you make up an incredibly important community in New Mexico, and we value what you do. All of you together are making a profound difference in the lives of so many vulnerable children, and also in the lives of desperate, dysfunctional families. I know that you see and experience things daily that would make most people crumble. The intergenerational trauma, the ACEs, the abuse, and the neglect. But you persist. For that, I thank you, and I stand with you. CYFD social workers and all social workers, CYFD investigators and all other investigators, children's court attorneys, thank you for holding abusive parents accountable. Attorneys who represent parents, thank you for making sure their rights are protected. Children's courts attorneys in children's court, thank you for holding juveniles accountable to the extent of their age and their maturity permits. Juvenile public defenders, guardians ad litem, and the other attorneys who represent children, thank you for being the voice of children in the court and for making sure their rights are protected. Juvenile probation officers, thank you for helping kids get healthy and out of the system. Children's court judges, thank you for being able to hear so many traumatic stories and still be able to make fair decisions to protect society and in the best interest of children. Foster parents, thank you for loving broken children as if they were your own. Therapists, counselors, and psychologists, thank you for listening to traumatized children and giving them tools they need to succeed. CASA volunteers, thank you for advocating for children. All the nonprofit organizations, FYI, PB&J, Pegasus Legal Services, Voices for Children, New Mexico Friends of Foster Children, and so many others. Grandparents who are picking up the pieces of their children's broken lives. Parents, to all the parents who have turned their own lives around to become better parents to their children. Educators, law enforcement officers who are on the front line and having to remove children from dangerous homes. It's a hard job. And legislators who have taken your suggestions to heart in advocating for good child welfare legislation and reforms. The Korean Wolf Law Center for Child and Family Justice at UNM, who helps put on this annual conference. To all the people who are here today, who I might have missed, thank you. And lastly, to all the children who aren't in this virtual room, but are the reason all of us who are. Thank you for not giving up on us as we are not giving up on you. May you continue to be safe. May you continue to do God's work. And may you continue to improve the state of New Mexico one child at a time. God bless you.